from a DFS perspective, and we're going to try to get after one of the weaker fields we've seen in a while, and see if we can't get the big win this week. So, Sheets, any overall thoughts before we jump on in?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just very frustrated with my technology right now. Again, I can't get the right freaking salaries in, but whatever. I'm running my sims anyway. We'll just go through tier by tier and we'll just figure it out.
All right. Well, let's we'll pull up your screen and then go tier by tier. And
let me find it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because everybody who's priced up is going to be owned just because they're names people know and you can afford them really easily because there's the 5K range for this tournament, which is very strange. Anyway, with that said, here we go. All right.
You can just get started.
Yeah. Okay. Top tier. I think I need to. Okay. So I'll do the over 10K.
Yeah.
A little bit of interest in everybody. I love Tom Kim, and I would have liked to have seen him win last week. Cam Young looked so much better. Minwoo feels like maybe that's one you could talk yourself into fading, even though I'm a big fan in general. And then Norin, at what should be sort of a birdie fest, he's more of a guy who I like to not make mistakes. So don't really look for him as much in those. So I'm leaning a little more towards Kim and Cam Young than I am towards Minwoo and Norin.
I mean, in general, aren't we supposed to, I don't know. Aren't we, I'd like to consider fading Tom Kim. I mean, just because he's coming off of that dramatic, to say the least, like run last week. And again, like the names in everybody's head. It's just so natural that he would bounce here and have an off week. I don't know. I'm just kind of inclined to fade that. Now the thing about this course, as you kind of pointed out yesterday, is that it does reward distance. So I guess that's the both these guys at the top. I mean, Cam Young and Minwoo Lee certainly fit that mold. So for me, I'm a little stubborn here. I'm kind of inclined to just go ahead and fade the Tom Kim if I can get away with it. But projections are not really letting me right now.
Yeah, and it makes sense because that's his thing, and he's gotten better off the tee. Like he's longer than he used to be, but he's still not one of the longer guys. I'm going to share your screen here. And he's still not one of the longer guys we have out there. So I think Cam Young and Minwoo maybe they do make more sense from a course fit perspective. I do think Tom Kim has been the better golfer here lately. One of them, best in 10K range, I'll say that. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think I like the 9K range a little bit better than maybe I do the 10K range personally.
Well, that's really interesting then, because the way I just ran like a whole bunch of lineups, and I'm getting like a bunch of Tom Kim, right? I'm getting like a little bit more in the field,
right? And
I'm getting almost nothing from the 9K. Like I'm getting right now, I'm getting Steven Yeager like 20%, and then after that, I'm getting like how much Akshay, like 15 or something like that, and very, very little of anybody else. So if that's the case, I have a feeling that those 9Ks are going to be pretty low owned, because if I'm not getting them, then probably a lot of people aren't. Who do you like in the 9K range?
So I like Akshay, I like Yeager, and I like Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler won this tournament last year and is back in good form. I don't see why he'll be so much lower owned. So that's where I'll sort of make my mark. I shouldn't say lately. He played one good tournament at Travelers, but it was nice to see him playing well. And this is a place he'd won at before. So I like the idea of getting the Fowler at low ownership. So those are the three for me. And the other one is Zalatoris is the best overall.
I'm busy recording. What's up?
So I'll keep going here. But I think that.
Do you need me? I'm like in the middle of like.
I think Zalatoris is an interesting guy to take a shot on. The problem is he's also going to have some ownership. So those are the four guys for me. that I mostly like in this range, and the most of which being Fowler. Actually, I think that's a good way to get different. Fowler, Zalatoris are probably my favorite get different ones. So you're not getting anything at all in this range other than
no, I mean very, very little.
Yeah, interesting. I think there's a lot of ways to build this week, and one thing I'm considering is doing sort of the opposite of what I do and forcing in the spend downs and trying to play the 9Ks and below, just because I just think all these guys are so similar. It's, I don't know. I'm going to guess, though, with that said, though, you're probably going to have a lot more guys in the 8K range than I do.
Yeah, so I am getting right now just like an incredible amount of a particular guy, and that would be Davis Thompson.
Love it.
In addition to that, I'm getting an excruciatingly large amount of Keith Mitchell also. So, like right now, like before I simmed it or whatever, everything, and again, this could be a function of my salaries being off, but I'm getting 70% of each of those guys, like right now. And then like kind of a shit ton of Aaron Rye and an uncomfortable amount of Chris Kirk. So yeah, I mean you can't feed from every range. So this is where I'm getting it.
I like that. In order for me in this range, because I think there's a lot of plays here. I've got it Thompson, McNeely, Mitchell, Ryan Fox, then Aaron Rye. I like the Ryan Fox thing. I think that Ryan Fox is a good course guy who I think he should be good on this course. He's surprisingly long. He's actually been pretty good, except for the tough tournaments lately that he's had to play. But I like those guys, and the fact that Thor Bjornsson is going to be completely unowned, I just don't want to like overlook him because he's going to be like 2%, and just something I was considering. But I think there's definitely some plays here, but my favorites being Thompson and McNeely, and Thompson, McNeely, and Mitchell. I should say I like all those three quite a bit. And then
so just so everybody knows, again, sorry for all the confusion here. And again, I should be a little bit better prepared, but I did just get the correct salaries like 2 seconds ago.
Nice.
I did just put the correct projections up, and I'll be updating everything later anyway. But I don't know what it was. I was getting the wrong salaries, but now I have the right ones, and now I can look at these things the way I want to. And but it doesn't change the fact that a whole bunch of Davis Thompson and a whole bunch of Keith Mitchell.
Yep, I think those are pretty strong plays anyway. All right, down under, well, 7,500 to actually, 7,500 to 7,900, I guess. Just a little quick range. You got anything here that you like?
Quite honestly, I'm getting some from the 6Ks more than these 7Ks. But take a look and see what I have. Getting, what are these prices? I'm getting some Matt Wallace, maybe, and Sam Stevens and Mark Hubbard. I have like 20% of those three, and then like 14% of Kevin Yu, but nothing like huge like some of these 8K guys that I have.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I like a couple guys, but not that many. I like Ben Griffin. I like Taylor Moore. I always like Taylor Moore, but Taylor Moore, for what it's worth, like I think he finished like 4th year last year or something like that, or maybe even 2nd. But I just think that I'll take a guy with good history on this instead of his recency. Like he hasn't been great his last couple tournaments. I'm okay with overlooking that and going right back to him this week. He's in the first. I built something before I read or looked at anything, and he was in my lineup. He's been struggling a little bit, the last few weeks. He did finish like 12th in the PGA Championship not very long ago, but hasn't been a good run at the Charles Schwab, the Memorial. He didn't have a good U.S. Open or Travelers, but I still want to go back to him here, and those are the ones for me. 7,500, 7,900. So
I cheated a little bit because I had so little in the 7K in general that I went to below 7,500 for that one. So
no, that's cool. That's cool.
That's why I said Wallace and Stevens. The only 7,500 up guys I had were Taylor Moore and Mark Hubbard. Wow, both those guys look like they're going to be kind of owned. They have both like 10%.
Yeah, probably.
I would go well, we can talk about the lower range. I would go down a little bit more, maybe even Kevin Yu. I have him at like 4% ownership. So if you want to play this range, I don't think you need to go too chalky.
Yeah, I agree that you don't necessarily need to, and I think that there's a couple other guys that I didn't mention because I was they're below 7,500. I like Højgaard a little bit. I don't see that he should be this far back price wise. I wouldn't have surprised me if he was like 9K. I like what's his name? I think Cam Davis is worth gambling. This is the kind of tournament I would gamble on Cam Davis. I keep saying that lately, and I seem to keep playing it.
He never does anything, right? I mean, like,
no, sometimes he does. He was on the winner a couple times recently. Not recent, maybe not recent, but like in this season for sure. But you know, it's not like the most exciting play. I mean, again, not my favorite range. I think Højgaard is the one I like the most down there, and I think Berger is worth taking a gamble on. I think he's starting to bounce back. I mean, he's been coming back from a long absence and has started to play a little bit better. Actually, I mean, he finished 21st at the U.S. Open. That's not too bad. So I'm willing to take a little gamble on Berger bouncing back. He's been solid enough, and the price is just low enough where I think the upside's there. So Berger, Højgaard being my favorites, along with Moore and Griffin in the slightly higher range. All right, under 7K, Sheets. What do you got here?
All right, I'll tell you what I have. I mean, I don't know if I'm actually putting this in, but right now, without simming, where just like my projections and just my top upside lineups or whatever, I'm getting 74.7% of Doug Ginn. So,
whoa,
that's what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Don't blame me. Again, I'm not necessarily putting it in, but this is what I'm getting when I just run my stuff through SaberSim, and I'll just show you. I mean, like, you know, this might not be what I play, but these are the exposures. Like 76% Keith Mitchell, 74% Doug Ginn, and 68% Davis Thompson. Maybe there's an outlier projection in here I have to kind of clean up a little bit, but that's what I'm getting now, and it's good enough for me. So I don't know if I'm going to play that much of him, but it's at least to say that it's a good play.
right.
What else under 7K am I getting? I'm getting the Rio Hisatsuni.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm getting the Mac Meisner, and more than I usually get of these cheaper guys.
Yeah, that's the way this is gonna play out, I think, because the difference is negligible between these guys and the top guys. Yeah, I am okay with the Hisatsune for sure. I had Adam Schenk and Thorbjørn Olesen as my two favorites down here. But other guys that I'm considered, I mean, it's Matty Schmidt. I don't mind the Meisner idea, but what about Jake Knapp? Like, isn't this a tournament where we should be playing Jake Knapp at 6,400? Isn't this the type of tournament he could actually win? Like, I think it is. So I think Knapp is maybe the one I end up with the most, just because I think the upside is there. And if he was going to win another event, I mean, this would be the kind. You got a birdie fest, a guy who can hit it long and far, and fairly accurately. I think he's interesting. So those are pretty much the ones for me. It is guys like Joseph Bramlett and Cam Champ. If you're playing like the lottery and stuff, I would try to force myself to get at least some of them, just because they can both drive at a million miles. And again, it's a very weak field, so they're the kind of guys who wouldn't surprise me if they popped up by the end of the week. And I said Bramlett and Champ, yeah. And the other one is, again, I don't want to play everybody, but I'm just throwing out. These are just the consideration ones. Would be Joel Dahman and Gary Woodland, but I don't feel especially excited. I probably don't end up with those guys. They're just the other ones I had that I considered. All right, and then we get down under 6K. I already know who I'm going to say.
Well, you know, it's funny. You know, we talked about this a little last night. You know, when you just kind of notice these guys that are just look like they just shouldn't be this price. You know,
right?
So I mean, forget the projections for a minute, and I'll just throw a couple of names out there. I mean, who did we say last night? I saw a couple of them. Patton Kazire, 5,800. Dylan Wu, 5,800. There were others though. Where those other guys go that we talked about yesterday?
The one we talked yesterday, I think we were in the 61, like because we talked about Talman, and we talked about
no, you know who it was? It was Streelman. Where is he? Yeah,
Streelman's 55.
5,500. You know, like
yeah,
he's just not. He should be more. I mean, I don't know how much more he should be, but he should be more than that. So I definitely like that. But I don't know if I'm actually getting to any of these turkeys, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah. Sam Ryder's another one that seems a little cheap at 5,800. I like the Ryder. I really like Carson Young, 5,900. I think he's the one I end up with, and that's pretty. I'm pretty sure that I'll end up playing some of him. I think Pearson Cootie. I don't know with the Cooties. It's always tough, but I still believe in the upside of this kid. So I like the idea of getting ahead on him in general. But other than that, I didn't get to both woos, and that's pretty much all I had in the 5K range. And I sort of feeling like I usually like to find a bunch of guys down here. There's a guy named Ben James who I've heard a couple people talking about, who's got a really good projection, and he's 5K flat. So I'm gonna have to look a little bit further into that and see where I end up. I will post my exposures in the Discord when they're done. But that was another one that I've heard a few times that's down at 5K flat. That it just makes it a little bit interesting to maybe that's something worth taking a shot on. But
one thing I'm going to do, by the way, for this week's golf, I am going to go with more min uniques.
Makes sense.
A little bit more than I have been. So I was getting like a 70% of like those guys. I'm probably going to I'll force my way out of getting too concentrated, I think, on this type of slate.
Yep. All right. So with that said, all right, we should get to the game. I think that makes a lot of sense though, the uniques. Oh, I forgot Vincent Norman too. If when in doubt, I'm playing a lot of the Europeans. It feels like, I don't know why, and these cheap guys. All right, so up at the top sheets, we'll start with you. Who do you like here to win this tournament? I
guess Cam Young I'll pick to win.
All right, that's fair. I am going to. I honestly have a very hard time picking the winner of this one. I'm going to say Steven Yeager.
Ooh, Steven Yeager for the MF win. I like that.
Skipping past the top range, tempting to go Minwoo, but
okay.
All right, down in the under 10K to top 5.
Yeah, there's a lot here. I guess I will just to stick by my take here. I will go with the hard hitting Keith Mitchell.
I like that. He was going to be the other one I considered for the win potentially, but you have Mitchell, I have Ricky Fowler, and I never play Ricky Fowler, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, I know.
Under 9K to top 10.
Under 9K to top 10 that we haven't mentioned already. I'm going to go with. I'm going to flip a coin between these two. I'll go. I already mentioned David Thompson. I'll go Aaron Rye for this one.
You've taken Rye. I'm taking Thompson.
Okay.
Davis Thompson is my guy. Top 20 under 8.
Top 20 under 8. Just to stick with the projections I have, I guess I'll go with. I guess I'll go with Matt Wallace, I suppose.
Ooh, okay. I always like to play a little. Now I have to. That's good. I always like a little Wallace. All right, under 7K to make the cut.
Well, what did you say for under 8K?
Oh, I said Taylor Moore. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And under 7K to make the cut, I'll say Doug. I'll go with Duncan.
All right, Duncan. Yeah, I guess you kind of have to, right? Like,
yeah,
70-some odd % of them.
But it's weird. You know what? It's funny. It depends. It so depends on what fields you put in here. Because when I ran my sims, I got like, I don't want to say very little, but I'm getting, much less, much less than that, especially in the lottery.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting in the lottery only, boy, why am I getting so little though? like 30%. I guess that's not that little, but I mean, relative to what I was getting without applying the sims, I guess I kind of like it this way. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. Under 6. I guess we have to do best player under 6K or something.
Yeah. One. Yeah. Best performer under 6K.
Okay. The one I have is Carson Young.
And I will go with the bad attitude.
Kevin Strillman?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good to me. Over 9K to miss the cut?
Oh, so many.
Yeah, a lot of guys I think could.
I mean, over 9K. Fine. I'll go Minwoo Lee.
Okay. So you're taking Lee, and I will take. I like this guy as a sleeper, but he's been pretty bad, and I will say Zalatoris.
Sounds good.
I should have noted that if we were going to take the 6K guys that I think have the best upside, I still think it's Jake Knapp.
Okay.
I know I mentioned Shank. I like Shank a lot. You know, he feels safer to make the cut, but I think Jake Knapp is the guy that comes down from the bottom range that could actually like win the tournament. All right. Well, it should be a fun week. Well, hopefully it's a fun week. We'll see if Sheets. Maybe this is what we need to get the thing firing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the full weekend.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, good luck to everybody. I'll post my stuff in Discord a little bit later. Working on some stuff for the site, so check it out. Remember, we are running free trials for a very limited time. We're going to start charging for like a small amount for the trial because it's we haven't too many people take advantage of it. And just keep starting with different accounts and different credit cards.
So is that what's going on?
It's a ton. We have some people who've done it like 15 times. So we can't keep doing that because they're $300 a month packages. So anyway, but I do suggest you take advantage.
That is pretty funny. By the way,
checking it out when you can. Yeah, people will find a way. I'll tell you, man. They really find a way. All right. Good luck to everybody, and hope to see some screen.